Hi, it's me, Richard Palfrey. Welcome to Fitness Without Filter and another episode of Ask a Personal Trainer, okay, where I answer your questions that have come to me via DM, my social media, and other bits and pieces, people speaking to me. And as always, my endeavor here is to answer questions for real people in an honest manner that you can understand and that will be relevant to you and your lifestyle. I'm not interested in working with Instagram models and helping them look as shiny as possible in their Lycra. I'm interested in you, the real people. So without further ado, let's get into today's questions. Okay, right. I've been looking online and in health food stores. That's probably your first problem right there, to be honest. For fat-burning supplements, what would you advise? Because I'm absolutely confused with what claims I can read out there. First of all, there is no such thing as a fat loss supplement, okay? It is entirely junk sold to you to basically make people money. As I've talked about in previous podcast episodes with Charles Barkley and a few other people, there is nothing out there you can buy legally that is going to be a fat loss reduction supplement, all right? There's no such thing exists because why would it? You can't take a substance into your body that specifically targets fat in a certain part of your body. All it would do would be attack fat all over your body. And by the way, your brain is largely fat and water. If you ingested something that killed fat, you'd also impair your mental function. So you're not going to do that. No, the only thing you're going to find out there that is going to be a accelerator to, let's say, body composition is going to be, for most of the Western world, certainly deemed as an illegal substance. So I would advise you don't go down that route. Also, because you're not going to possibly comprehend the health consequences, because you're going to buy it from some source that may be questionable. You won't know the quality, the caliber of it, and you could go down a whole road of problems. Not to mention the fact you'll be throwing money at something that may get you in trouble. So avoid like the plague. What I would suggest is, comes back to good old-fashioned nutritional quality, your lifestyle awareness, and yes, if you're looking to change your body composition, you are going to have to exercise. I can't say it any clearer than that, all right? If you are looking to make a change to your physical appearance, you're going to have to change your physicality. Now, some time ago, being in my early 40s, when I was younger, people were a lot more active than they are now. So that was a less common thing to have to assert, because people from a young age were active. They did a lot more things with their friends, their peers. They were outside. They're more active. A lot more pastimes were physical, whereas now a lot more of them are sedentary based. You know, you're interacting with a device, with multiple people on multiple devices, or you're sat around. The interaction with our physical world is not what it used to be. So you're not burning as much calories casually daily as you ever were. If you want to make some changes, and I've said this throughout my PT career, whatever the question is, the answer is change. If you want to see a change in yourself, you are going to have to make changes. There's nothing you can ingest or take that's going to do it for you. If you have anybody on this topic that you're talking to in person and the topic of Ozempic or something comes up, give yourself or the person who manages it a slap. All right, you do not want to go down that route. It's not been properly researched or tested. I don't care what anyone says, what any celebrities pay to promote it. Just go the healthy route. I can't stress that enough. All right. I'm a 27-year-old woman and I've been exercising for a few years. I can't seem to get the balance right for lower body and glute exercises. How much time should I be putting into my program? What should I expect in terms of growth? And any specific exercise you can recommend? Well, you're probably doing, if you've been exercising for a while, the kind of exercises that would stimulate growth, to be honest, because you're going to be exercising your whole body and your lower body. You're going to be doing squats, deadlifts. You're probably going to be doing glute thrusts. You're going to be doing all the kind of work for your posterior chain, the hinge, and all that kind of stuff. What I would suggest is you look at your programming as a whole, what you've been doing over the period of time, and think about the changes you've already seen to date. Whether you've gone from being someone who was quite slim, quite lean, and didn't have much in the way of curves anyway, see where the development is. Look at your hamstring, quad, glute development. Are they all in kind of a linear kind of progression? Have you seen curves? Have you seen changes in your muscle mass, I should say, occur over a similar kind of period of time? Or are you more shapely in one area than the other? Have you been neglecting a part of your muscular development? Also, I would question what your goal is. Are you looking to work your glutes as part of a broader strength development program in the same way that real heavy lifters, for example, will include reverse hyperextension, all that kind of thing into their posterior chain as a way of maximizing the ability to develop the power they can deliver? Are you looking for an athletic power strength gain, or is it aesthetics? Because one is genuine productivity in terms of exercise. The other is going to be sets and reps, sets and reps, sets and reps to simply expand your muscle cross-sectional volume. The two can look similar, but your stimuli is going to be different. I would also say to you what I've seen a lot of around different parts of the world. If you're doing this for a vanity-based reason, and let's be honest, it's become a big thing the last few years, glute development, glute development, glute development. There's so many Instagram, etc. You see it going, buy my booty program and all that, most of which is shit. But as I was saying, don't go down the route what you normally see middle-aged men and young adolescent males of going, I'm just going to focus on this one body feature. For those guys, it's normally biceps and chest, and the rest of the body looks like, like it comes off a different species in comparison. They see skinny legs, just whatever midsection, and then they've got this ridiculously outsized, disproportionate upper body. I've also seen that recently. I've seen it in the States, I've seen it in the Middle East, I've seen it in Europe, and I certainly see it in the UK, where you see girls who have skinny legs, no defined shoulders or arms, so there's no whole body balance going on, yet bizarrely they've got this ridiculously over-enhanced backside. If that is the route you're going down, I would just say work your whole body, develop an overall aesthetic, and go from there. If you feel the need to tweak your programming over a period of time, you want a bit more rounding of your shoulders and development in your other muscle groups, accentuate your program a little bit, diversify your range of exercises over a bigger period of time. Don't just chop and change week by week, because you'll see no ongoing stimuli. You need to make it at least progressive for a period of time asset to your program. See what happens, see what change occurs, and if you don't quite get the kind of direction that you want, then you make changes. All right. If you're looking to add muscle mass anyway, you need to look at your calorie intake to see what's going to help you promote that. You need to look at your protein intake and all that kind of balance. But I would suggest think about your overall goals. If it's strength-based, that you want to see a stronger posterior chain, that stronger hinge, that is not necessarily going to be the same development as the aesthetics. All right. If you're looking just to fill out your Lycra a bit differently, I'm not going to give you specific exercises, because it would seem like, again, if you've got a history of that long in the gym, you probably do know what you're doing. I would say, look at the specifics of what you want to achieve, and that will inform your choices for exercise. Okay. Again, get back in touch. I can get specific in the future, but for now, I'll leave that one there. All right. Okay. Next question. I've heard you on your podcast talk about the difference in foods between calorie-dense foods and calorie total. All right. What do you mean by that? Because I was confused. Okay. Right. This is a kind of area where people sometimes don't realize, unless it chimes because someone's explained it to them, or they've suddenly had an epiphany, that foods aren't all made the same, obviously. Calorie totals of foods differ widely. If you talk about calorie totals versus calorie density, it's similar to that whole saying of what's heavier, a kilo of lead or a kilo of feathers. It's the same weight, it's the same total, but the mass they occupy can be very different. So if you think about, for example, a bowl of ice cream, very calorie dense. A bowl of lettuce, well, high volume, but low calorie total. Okay, so when you look at your foods, think about what satisfies your appetite versus the nutrients you're going to get from it. Okay, you could sit in a movie theater with a lap full of, candy, sweets, popcorn, soda, very, very calorie dense, low nutritional value. And to be honest, you're not going to feel satisfied or full after eating all that, but you've ingested a lot of calories. It's very, very unlikely you're going to sit in a movie theater or at home in front of the television with a whole roast chicken and a big bowl of salad. They would be very, very high nutrition. You're not going to eat your way through it because it satisfies your appetite. The calorie total versus the calorie density is not the same. So if you're thinking about your body composition from your diet, or you're just looking to make informed choices, think of the two in that regard. If I go to my kitchen now and I make lunch and I'm going to make, say, sriracha tuna bowl, it takes me about 5-6 minutes. There's not much in the way of wasted calories there. The rice part of it with a little bit of the marinade and all that, it's not very calorie dense. There's not much of a calorie total, but that's going to help fill me up nicely. The only real calorie sort of content there is the raw tuna, which is going to be, again, only moderate in total. So as a meal, low total calorie intake, but the volume there for the meal I'm going to have is going to be quite significant. I could go downstairs, go to my kitchen, and make myself, I don't know, whatever kind of junk food, really high density in terms of fats, calories, low nutrition. I won't feel satisfied. That's the kind of balance I talk about when I mention those things. Okay, hope that helps. Moving on to the next question then. Best exercise for abs. Right. If you look on YouTube, you look on Instagram, you look on TikTok, although stay away from it for your mental health, or anything else, and you look up abs, or you see trainers going ab exercise, ab exercise, ab exercise, what you typically see is just a million variations of a crunch. All right, it's that fold in the middle of your body, and that's it. Your body is a three-dimensional apparatus. So why do you think simply by bending yourself in the middle, that was me, pretending to do that, by the way, if you're watching, why would you presume just by repeatedly bending in the middle, you're going to develop your entire physique, your entire trunk, your abdomen? You're not going to do it, okay? First off, you're not going to see any abdominal muscles, any kind of, sort of the lines, the definition there, the kind of overall aesthetic that you may be after, unless you have a reduced body fat percentage enough to make them visible. So get off that kick straight away that I need to see abs, I need to see abs, I need to see abs. Unless you're addressing your whole health, your whole body composition, it's not going to happen. And to be honest, it's actually a lot more work than most people ever realize. I've been in single-digit body fat probably twice in my life. It is a miserable experience to get there. I didn't stay there very long. The first time I did it as a matter of personal research. The second, I was trying to get below the magic 200 pounds, 100 kilos to go and do my civilian free-fall license. 3 days after I got there, before I could book the course, I snapped my leg on a motorbike at a motocross track, and I never got to do it. I've never done it since because my current sort of resting physique at the moment, I'm probably about 12, 13, 40% body fat, and I weigh 250 pounds. I am not about to go and thrash myself to do that again. So anyway, as I was saying, back to the thing. If you're looking to see a much more narrowed waistline, you need to look at exercises that are extension and flexion of your whole body. You need to look at rotational movements. Transverse, that would be to say diagonal movement, left to right, right to left, front and backwards. Dynamic, isometric. You need to basically build a very, very strong core. Start to get all of those musculature from essentially your knees to your neck, all working, all strong, all competent, with a really good sort of like proprioception and control, and you'll start to see a change in your trunk as a whole. Okay, ditch the idea of abs as a metric for your health and your success, because it leads you to potentially a lot of negative emotional reinforcement for your progress, for your efforts that you're putting in, and sometimes even just self-esteem. So I would say, if you're exercising for your health, fantastic. If you're looking to address your quality of life and nutrition, your lifestyle for your health, fantastic. Don't give yourself a singular point of focus for your aesthetics, because you lead yourself to a lot more personal browbeating than you do positivity. All right, that would be my genuine best advice for that. I'm probably going to do another video to go with this, or I'll start to put images or video beside me here so you can see what I mean. But I would say, focus on the whole, not the specifics, because just like you can't really spot lose body fat, you're not going to be able to just develop that little front of your abdomen over everything else. Again, it's not going to work. All right. And similar to that, then, I have a question going, what's the best exercise to develop my arms? Okay, I would guess that comes from a guy, just because of stereotypes. I would suggest you can think of the obvious bicep curls. You've got preacher, bar, dumbbell, cable. Same when it comes to tricep, you've got cable extension, cable press. Start to also think about things like just dead hang. It's going to focus on your forearms a lot, your shoulders and everything else. I would say think about your normal deadlifting and that kind of work. Lifting is going to help build all that, not as you expect, but it has a contribution. I would say carries and general whole body work is also going to taper your arms to a degree. Yet certainly hit the volume if you're looking to build your arms. Don't neglect your shoulders when you do this, because you run the risk of sort of knackering yourself out, because you'll start to accentuate triceps and biceps over shoulder health, shoulder movement, in the same way that people who focus on their chest far too much can start to impinge their natural, comfortable shoulder mechanics. You can start to play havoc if you're not careful. I know there have been times when I've really been focusing on physique. I'm talking back to my 20s now, but you can start to go down the route of maybe giving yourself a little bit of lateral epicondylitis, normally called tennis or golfer's elbow, because you've been specific in your development rather than think about overall benefits. But yes, what I would also say as well, when you're doing specific arm exercises for aesthetic development, you can go the route of high exertion for sets and reps, add in a finisher exercise or two to get the most out of that work. If you've been doing weight-based stuff, triceps and biceps, add in lighter, maybe high rep cable sets, curls and extensions. Even TRX work is very, very good for that, because that's an all or nothing exercise, and you can graduate the effort as you tire out with changing the angle of the incline that you're at. And you can add, which I've done sometimes with clients, elastic sets, because you've got the idea of that increased effort through the range of movement. So you really are digging in. So say, for example, you've done 2, 3, 4, 5 sets or whatever, maybe throw in 1 or 2 elastic bicep curl sets of 20, 25 reps, elastic extensions for your triceps. It will make a massive difference, because you're going to eke out that last little bit of effort in your muscles. You will feel it the next day or so, trust me. But that's a tip for that. Okay, that's the answer for the questions for today's episode. Okay, folks, I wish you the very best out there for your health and fitness journeys and experiences. I hope you take something from this episode. Take care, and I'll see you in future recordings.